Yo, what is good? A White to Black Belt podcast. It's been a minute since I made my last podcast, and I'm doing it solo today. I'm just gonna fucking ride it off the top. We're just gonna have a good time, guys. We're just gonna have a great time. I'm here. I'm on the casting couch, as you can see. You know, we're about to shoot a film. So, for today, I wanted to talk about something a little bit rough. It's been a little bit on the rough side over the past couple months, unfortunately, and it's been really inhibiting my ability to train. And I'm still dealing with a lot of the emotions and stuff like that, and I'm just gonna let it kind of come out raw, because if you are someone who's been struggling with the same thing, or you've been dealing with something similar, I would love to definitely share thoughts, share ideas, and just try to continuously improve our jiu-jitsu, improve our mind. Not only just our jiu-jitsu, but the self. I like the self-improvement aspect of things as well. Jiu-jitsu is a beautiful thing, and jiu-jitsu is such a great part of self-improvement and developing discipline and improving yourself. I think a big thing that can help our self-improvement journey and our ability to be disciplined is what Jordan Peterson, if you've listened to him, calls looking out for the dragons. So basically what he means is that there's these small things that happen in life that we can maybe ignore for now, right? Things that aren't that bad. And what happens is the little dragons, they start to become big dragons. And if you keep ignoring it, it becomes this huge, gigantic dragon that you no longer can avoid or ignore. You are forced to deal with it. And it really could have just been solved super easily. And that, for me, was my rib. I've talked about it on here a few times, but it was something that originally popped 3 months ago. And I took a couple weeks off, and then I kind of went through periods of time where I would rest and then train, and then I had these competitions coming up. I ended up doing a tournament. Then I ended up fucking doing a super fight, and the entire time my rib hurts. My rib hurts the entire time. My breathing is inhibited. And that was for 2 months, and I did these matches and did these tournaments. I ended up winning, which is dope as fuck, but I get a little emotional just thinking about it and looking back. It's something that I should have dealt with a little bit sooner. And what happened was, after the super fight, I took 3 weeks off, started to feel better, went back to training, and I felt like absolute shit the next day after I trained. I trained a couple days, and then I was just shot. I was so scared. My stomach felt like it was going to explode out of its skin. I thought it was something that was related to my ribs. I thought something was happening with my rib itself. And after waiting a few days, it wasn't getting any better, and I had to get to the bottom of this. We ended up going to the emergency room. I was there with my mother. Thankfully, she was there supporting me. That was very, moms are our best friends, so make sure you tell your mom you love her. But, what ended up happening was he started to poke around, and he was poking at my ribs, and he was like, "How do these feel?" And I'm like, "It's not too bad. It's a little sore, but not too bad." And he starts poking at where my stomach is, and I was literally removing his hand. And he was like, "Why are you touching my hand?" And I was like, "It just hurts. It feels like an instinct to just pull it away." And he was like, "All right." So we ended up doing an x-ray. Turned out my rib was broken, and it turned out I was also diagnosed with gastritis. Now, this is just a basic level stomach issue. This is something that can be seen as from Gordon Ryan, what I ended up having probably to an extreme. I would have a smaller sense of that. It is the most annoying thing. It is very uncomfortable. It hurts, and it's something that I literally have to monitor from now on. I have to start taking care of myself. As of right now, it's only acute, and it can be something that I can deal with as long as I make the right food choices. That's going to be the big thing. Is going to be my nutrition and fixing up my nutrition and handling that. If it winds up persisting, I unfortunately have to get a camera down my throat and get my stomach checked out and everything. It's definitely scary. It's really scary to think about, but one of the main things that I'm learning so much about the gut now, because I've been doing some of my research and I was asking the doctor questions, And, there's special GI doctors, and also our knowledge on the digestive system is quite limited. But from what he said, he's like, you are very stressed and you are stressing yourself out and you're tensing up and it's making it worse. And the more stress that you have, the worse it's going to get. He ended up prescribing me some medicine. He said, listen, you need to relax. You need to start breathing. You need to take it easy for a bit. Take it easy for a couple weeks and take it slow. If it starts getting worse, or if by the time the medication is up and it's still not gone, then you got to go and check out for the next level things. Told me a little bit about diet. He's like, for the most part though, you're probably going to be fine. This is not a severe case. And I was like, okay, awesome. That's great to hear. And since taking that medicine, I've felt so much better. There's still a little bit of discomfort. It seems like my stomach is inflamed. That's basically what it is. That's what gastritis is. And there's this like excessive acidity that's in the stomach, acid reflux. And I definitely look back at the same time that I was injured, my diet was not the best. I was just not taking care of myself over the past few months. And it's really sad to think about, because I've always been the type of person to put a lot of effort and time into my health and being a better person. And to just let myself I got so enthused into jiu-jitsu that I don't want to blame the jiu-jitsu. It was just a matter of ignoring my health and not, again, once I heard that pop from my rib, I should have been at the x-ray the next day. I should have been at the doctor the next day. Let's figure out what's going on. Let's try to correct this. He even said like your rib injury is right by your stomach. So you could have taken physical damage while your rib was broken during your time of training. And I was like, well, that would make sense. It's a big reason why it flared up right after I did a training session. It was so bad. So I might have hurt my stomach physically from training because my rib was compromised. And it was just a stupid thing to do. And at this point, I feel way better. My mobility has improved a lot, but it's going to take time. Because basically what happens with this thing is it starts to feel better. Then you think you can go back to train. It's not like a shoulder, right? Like you have bum shoulder. Hey, man, make sure you don't Kimura me, and let's take it kind of light. We can kind of avoid even using your shoulder in the roll, or even like your knee. Dude, I'm just going to play supine guard, or, let's just focus on passing. My back kind of hurts, whatever. You can't do that with your rib. No matter what position you're in, no matter what you're doing, you're going to be using those muscles by your rib, and you're just going to constantly keep re-damaging the rib and that cartilage. And that's basically what's been happening. So that's why it hasn't seen any improvement. It'll get better for a little bit, then I re-injure it, and then it comes back. And that's just something that I've had to accept and take a part of. It's very unfortunate, It sucks, and there's nothing that I can really do about it now except for what I can do. That means I gotta rest. Now that my rib is starting to feel better, I can do some things like yoga to help loosen up my digestive system, to help loosen up my stomach, and to overall just improve the health of it all. So, that's the main key, is helping with that, It definitely sucks. I really miss training jiu-jitsu, Jiu-jitsu is like one of the most fun things for me, and I'm trying to make it my career, teaching and coaching, and that's one of the most important things to me, is becoming a jiu-jitsu coach. I just love it. I want to do kids classes. I want to have my own school. That is my goal, and that is what I'm going to accomplish. I'm doing it here in South Carolina, probably in like the Surfside Beach, Murrells Inlet, Myrtle Beach type area. And I'm really excited about that. I moved here from New York, and it feels good to be in an area where I just feel a lot of peace. I really do. Here, my mom moved out of New York, and it's been good. And I see New York, unfortunately, due to all this pandemic and COVID stuff going on, that there's been like some more shutdowns, people wearing masks again, having to wear your vaccine card. Now listen, some of you might be like, it's absolutely ridiculous that you didn't get your vaccine and whatever. I'm not even trying to get into that. I'm not really trying to get political on this. That's not the point of like the podcast and stuff. This is about jiu-jitsu and my journey and stuff. What I am saying is that I felt like I got out at a good time, and since moving, I just feel better. I live on my own now, and I've been living away from my parents and my family and my friends, and I've had to build new relationships and start training at a new jiu-jitsu gym, and it's awesome, like going, Matt Serra is like my, he gave me my blue belt. Jason Rao gave me my blue belt. Those are like those are my guys forever. And they've always said that I'm always part of the team. And I travel back to New York and I train and I see my friend and we'll go out and we'll have some fun or whatever. And then I'm there for a few days and I'm like, all right, I'm good. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to live there in New York anymore, but it's one of the most fun places to go and visit. It really is. I love visiting over there, especially since I get to see my friends and I get to see my jiu-jitsu. And that's always fun, I think. And, since moving here, I've found a great place to train at, Legion Martial Arts in Little River, in the Big Barn. Such a good group of people, such good training partners. We have such a good time, and I've really missed them. I haven't been able to really train or even like get up and go to class because I've just been in so much stomach pain. But now my stomach has really seen a lot of improvement. My rib is improving. I'm staying healthy. So next week, my goal is to start getting myself back into my own work schedule, my own routine, getting back to jiu-jitsu and stuff. And that's definitely something that I would like to talk about more on a future podcast, is like balancing everything along with your training and kind of dictating where you want to go with the sport, whether you just want to do jiu-jitsu for fun as a hobby and to help make sure that you're protecting yourself and that, you're improving yourself. I think there's a lot of people that are kind of wishy-washy on where they are, and I think the discussion is super important. Even for the people that are crystal clear on what they want to do, I think it's important to kind of bring that discussion to the table. Let's all kind of come up front with what we want to accomplish and what our goals are. Maybe your goal is right now to raise your family, and you can only do jiu-jitsu like 3 times a week for an hour, and that's it. And that's fine, and that's cool, because that aligns with your goals. Maybe you're someone who is trying to be really serious about jiu-jitsu and is trying to turn it into a possible career. For that, I would then ask, I would probably say to either not do it or to say, like, what is it that you really want to do this for? For me, it's the coaching. And I've yet to find, there's definitely people out there, but I haven't had like a really deep, thorough conversation with somebody who's like, yeah, I want to get really good at jiu-jitsu so I can coach and teach good jiu-jitsu. I want to be able to affect positively the people around me. That's one of the most important things to me. Not being the highest level competitor, but I will try to be the highest level competitor so that I can do the best for my future students and for me as a coach and for me as an instructor. That is why I do everything that I do. That is why I continue to train with a broken rib. It's because I just think about the things that I'm going to be able to teach my future students and, potentially the kids' classes and stuff. And then eventually, as I start to get more comfortable with my life, maybe I have a kid and maybe I have a family myself. That's not something that I'm doing right now. I'm only 24. I'm totally cool with where I'm at. I'm working on my career, and that's fine. I like being by myself. I'm way less stressed. I want to deal with my health problems and start doing better at jiu-jitsu. And then as I get better at jiu-jitsu, I'm sure the ladies will be throwing themselves at me, right? Because as you start to see more success, you start to see a little bit better options for yourself. So it's a big thing for me. These are definitely things that I want to discuss more. It's kind of what this podcast is all about. It's about just doing it raw and just talking about things that have been on my mind recently. It feels really good to do. I love podcasting. So what's next? Well, I have to eat very bland foods, a lot of rest, light stretching. I'm studying and watching tape every day. And I'm still thinking about the sport, and I still think about jiu-jitsu. But now I'm starting to see it's time to get back to my routine, make sure I get back to work, get that money in. We all got to make sure we take care of our finances, take care of our personal problems, and then our jiu-jitsu will be even better, and jiu-jitsu will be more fun. I think a lot of people look at jiu-jitsu as sort of like an escape when it doesn't have to be an escape. For me, jiu-jitsu is this amazing thing that I'm grateful to be able to do. It doesn't feel like, oh my God, I hate my life so much, I need to go do jiu-jitsu so I can escape my life. I think the most important thing is that we love ourselves, love our lives, try to be the best that we can to each other, and move forward powerfully. And that's it. I'm just going to end it right there. That's going to be it for today. It's almost 15 minutes. It's a good amount of listening time. I hope this inspired you a bit, brought a little bit of a fire to you, and you have yourselves a great day.